I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to our ongoing Operation Freedom Healthcare series. We are now well over 2 years into this symposium and this series that Dr. Peter Glidden and I have done to benefit you and everyone you pass this information on to. The positive feedback from you, our listeners and viewers, has been enormous. The negative feedback from Big Pharma, Big Medicine, Big Insurance, Big Government has been incredibly negative, just incredibly negative coming our way. And frankly, it's an honor for Peter and I to have upset those entities, because the crux of what we do is empowering you and your health and wellness so that it does not rely on Big Pharma, Big Insurance, Big Medicine, or Big Government. Hence their dislike for us, of which, isn't it great, Pete? I'm honored to have with me my very dear friend and the top naturopathic physician, not just in our country, but I believe one of the top in the world, Dr. Peter Glidden. Now, in addition to his outstanding clinical abilities and research abilities, Pete is a phenomenal author. 2 books that should be the foundation of your library for your medical well-being. Everybody is sick, and I know why. An Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, both available at Amazon, but in particular, those books and a wealth of information are available at drglidden.com. Now, full disclosure before we start. The information we discussed here, for example, when we talk about the 12 bad foods, free video, operationfreedomhealth.com, right on the top, toward the top of the homepage. In addition, we have a wealth of information on various issues that we have spoken about, and we have the products that we discuss. And full disclosure, purchase the products on operationfreedomhealth.com does benefit this platform so we can continue our efforts of empowering you. It's my honor to welcome back my friend, Dr. Peter Glidden. Pete, welcome back to the Operation Freedom Health platform.
Welcome to the monkey house, David. The craziness continues worldwide. Unbelievable.
Okay. So Pete, here now we have to tread on eggshells today. Okay. So what are we going to discuss? Well, I have been inundated by a lot of requests from our viewers and listeners about discussing heart health and nutrition. Okay. Now, why? Why? It's really been over the past couple months here. It's been off the charts, these requests about discussing heart health. And the reason is because many of our viewers and listeners have friends that had a particular, we can't say it, medical intervention, and their friends that had not had any previous cardiac or heart-related issues now have developed them. And we're not just talking, Pete, people in their 60s or 70s or 80s. We're talking people in their 40s, 30s, 20s, and even teens. And the common denominator here is a medical intervention. Now,
come on, Dave. It's the stress of life that's causing that. You know that.
Right. Well, so funny you bring that up because on Zero Hedge recently, in the past couple of days, in fact, there was an article that UK physicians have come forward and said, we have never seen the number and severity of heart-related issues in young people, and it must be the stress of what they've been dealing with over the past 2 years.
Yeah, those people are paid off, guaranteed lock, stock, and barrel by the criminal cartel, otherwise known as the Food and Drug Agency here in the United States. It's crazy how far this goes. And let me tell you something. As far as we're concerned, because it's the truth, stress is a causative factor in the genesis of all disease. And there's lots of types of stress, right? There's political stress.
Right.
There's financial stress. There's weather. There's aging. There's viruses. There's bacteria. There's emotional stress, physical stress, right? Go outside, in cold weather without the appropriate clothing on. Stress is everywhere all the time. And, we've known this for centuries. And there's a causal link between certain types of stress and certain physiological processes. The normal psychological stress of life has nothing to do with the genesis of heart disease. It has zero to do with the genesis of heart disease. It does not matter. If the stress of life caused heart disease, and everybody in Dachau would have died from heart attacks, and they didn't.
No.
Right?
No.
So it's a ruse, it's a misdirection, or it's just medical professionals talking out of their rear end because they don't really know what to make out of it, because the cognitive dissonance runs really strongly in the world today of medicine. And it's only recently, I mean, you've been doing this forever, but it's only recently that colleagues, MD colleagues, are finally getting their head out of the sand and standing up and saying, hey, wait a minute, something smells rotten in Denmark, right?
Right.
The cognitive dissonance here is a gigantic factor which is driving all of this, because it's just an inconceivability for a lot of people to think that, well, the medical establishment might be wrong. They can't bring themselves to that mindset, but that's a gigantic problem. But the heart conditions that are prevalent now have nothing to do with the stress of life. And a colleague of mine in India did an analysis of all of the side effects that people experienced from a certain medical intervention. And there was a homeopathic medicine which matched all of them almost exactly. And it didn't matter which intervention it was. This homeopathic medicine is an extraction of the venom, interestingly enough, of the yellow viper.
Oh.
It's called Bothrops lanceolatus. Now let's back up a little bit here. Remember, homeopathy is a very unique system of medicine. And in the wonderful world of homeopathy, the medicines which we use therapeutically are attenuated. So, for instance, we can start with a substance like the venom of the yellow viper snake, which is deadly in its natural form. But when we take that substance and prepare it homeopathically, the final medicinal agent which we deliver to people is completely safe. You could give it to a newborn baby with impunity. The preparation process renders the homeopathic medicine safe, gentle, and easy on the system. And that's interesting where it came from. And that opens up a whole realm of conversational possibilities, scientific possibilities, which are fascinating, quite frankly. But nonetheless, this medicine, safe, gentle, easy on the body. It's called Bothrops lanceolatus. And that's fancy schmancy Latin doctor talk for venom of the yellow viper. Find it at a homeopathic store. I don't think you'll be able to find this locally. You can find it online. Get it in the 30C potency. And the recommendation is 2 pellets orally twice a day, 2 pellets orally twice a day until your symptoms subside. If there's no movement at all after 14 days, then you can stop taking it. But this is a specific for these conditions which are showing up after the certain medical procedure that we are not allowed to disclose. Now, on top of this, right, this is a specific. Now remember, homeopathy, like acupuncture, like botanical medicine, is like jump-starting a dead battery in a car. Medical nutrition is like taking the car in for a tune-up. So in addition to the stuff that we do, these things are like the icing on the cake. But you don't just eat the icing, you have to do the whole cake, right?
That's right.
So the recommendation is the foundation pack, the 90 essential nutrients, the foundation pack every day, or at least regularly, right? Once every other day, whatever. You got to take the 90 essential nutrients into your body on a regular basis. You have to stop eating food that's coming up the works. And now you have a really good foundation for health. And when you take these steps, things like botanical medicine, the homeopathic medicine, acupuncture, even chiropractic, which I'm a giant fan of, is going to be much more effective. And it makes sense. I mean, what kind of a car is going to be better after you jumpstart it? One that was just tuned up or one that was tuned up 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was one that was just tuned up. So if you do both, you're going to be in a really good position moving forward. And also, if we have any cardiac issues at all, regardless of the etiology, regardless of the pathology, known or unknown, regardless, we do the Good Herbs Heart Support. Good Herbs Heart Support. And I would do 2 bottles a month, 4 milliliters twice a day, 4 mLs twice a day for 30 days, and see if you don't notice a positive change. 30 days is more than enough to notice a positive change inside of a cardiac condition. And I'm not talking about a complete 100% resolution of the symptoms in 30 days. In 30 days, I'm talking about a noticeable improvement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we do it. We give the body the nutrients that it needs in order to support and promote its function. And then we give extra additional icing on the cake stuff as needed, depending on what it is. And the Good Herbs Heart Support, 4 mLs twice a day, that's 2 bottles a month. And this homeopathic medicine should offer a tremendous amount of relief for those sick and suffering from the negative effects of you know what.
And we have the foundation pack, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, Beyond OsteoFX, plant-derived minerals, jojoba omegas, along with the Heart Support by Good Herbs on OperationFreedomHealth.com. The homeopathic, as you mentioned, put it in the search engine of your choice, and look for that.
And we like to use this particular homeopathic in the 30C potency.
30C.
C like Charlie. And just take 2 little pellets orally, pop them in your mouth, suck on them like a Tic Tac. 2 pellets in the morning, 2 pellets in the evening for 14 days. If inside of 14 days there's a noticeable, measurable, positive improvement, then you keep taking it until you're 100%. If before day 14 there's a remarkable positive improvement, like, oh my God, I feel a million times better, like somebody flipped a switch, then you stop taking it. That's how homeopathy works, by the way, and it's not like anything else. Homeopathy, if you're jump starting a dead battery in a car, once the engine turns over, you remove the cable.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done. Homeopathy is unusual in that regard. The medical nutrition we do all the time. The botanical medicine we do for weeks or months at a time, but the homeopathy sometimes only days at a time. It's a remarkable system of medicine.
Well, we just started talking about adrenal health, and lo and behold, Pete, the powers that be were, pun intended, we had a power outage here on my end. So let's reboot about this whole issue of the adrenal side of the equation. So all too often in stressful situations, not just stress of life. For example, with me, my blood pressure was, ticking up there. And I found that by going with the foundation pack and adding adrenal support from Good Herbs, it really made a very positive difference on what no longer was hypertension. So your take on the adrenal side of this?
The combination of these two things, the foundation pack, number one, and the Good Herbs products, number two. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a remarkable, it's like the 1-2 punch, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. It's remarkable. And all of the Good Herbs are really great inside of their own domain. And it's because of the way that they're made and how they're sourced and the manufacturing process and all of that. It's a big deal. And specifically, if I was only allowed by law to prescribe one botanical medicine formula, it would be the Good Herbs Adrenal Support. Because everybody is stressed out about something. It's the reason that people smoke cigarettes. People don't smoke cigarettes because they want to get lung cancer. People smoke cigarettes because when you smoke a cigarette, it calms you down. Mm-hmm. and your stress melts away, and you're more able to deal with. You just feel better, right? It's a drug action by the nicotine and other stuff inside the cigarette. But people do that because why is that? A little bit at a time. You don't even know that it's happening. A little bit at a time. You don't even know that it's happening. A little bit at a time. And then you wake up and you've got anxiety, or you've got insomnia, or you've got high blood pressure, or you've got chronic GI distress. You got something, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of it has to do, especially now, for goodness sakes, I mean, ever since the whole Trump re-election debacle, it's been a downhill slide with gigantic political and emotional stress, gigantic, and now economic stress, because the Biden administration has their heads up their rear end concerning all things economic. It seems like they're trying to drive the United States economy into the ground. It seems to me that that's what's happening, but I digress nonetheless, right? Stress, stress everywhere all the time. And it's like death by 1,000 cuts. So do yourself a favor as an experiment. If you're in the listening audience, get a bottle or two of the Good Herbs Adrenal Health as an experiment for 1 month. Take 4 milliliters twice a day, 4 mLs twice a day, and see if it doesn't improve your mood, improve your outlook, just generally overall make you feel better. Because there's a difference here between like taking a pharmaceutical antidepressant or anti-anxiety medicine and taking a botanical medicine, the intention of which is to strengthen the organ systems in the body that are relative to certain things. So the adrenal support isn't like a feel-good, happy-good Prozac pill.
Right.
The adrenal support helps the endocrine system of your body to work the way that God intended it to.
That's right.
And that's a much better scenario. And honest to God, that most people in this realm, because it is death by 1,000 cuts, they just don't know how bad it is.
That's right.
Everybody's gotten used to feeling like crap. So do the foundation pack, eliminate the 12 bad foods, and as a favor to yourself, a little Christmas present, get a couple of bottles of the Good Herbs Adrenal Support, 4 mLs twice a day for 21, 28 days. Tell me how you feel. And
then on the cardiac side, obviously the cardiac support. So Pete,
the Good Herbs Heart Support.
So, and these products that we discussed here, the Foundation Pack, Adrenal, Cardiac Support, are available. OperationFreedomHealth.com, plus the free video about the 12 bad foods. Educate our listeners on drglidden.com.
Well, at Operation Freedom Health, we go into, it's like the kiddie end of the pool with my informational videos. But at drglidden.com, which is my main website, I've got health recovery information. That's the deep end of the pool. It walks you right through stuff that you can do on your own at home to support your body's ability to fix itself if you've been diagnosed with whatever you've been diagnosed with. And it's from A to Z. I think I talk about 90 different illnesses in my content. I also talk about concepts like, alkaline versus acidity and the best way to detox and a lot of things like that. But it's the deep end of the pool for people who really want to get serious about their health recovery. It's a great resource. And the best way to get to my website is to go to OperationFreedomHealth.com. Just go to OperationFreedomHealth.com and click on the graphic with my smiling face.
Always smiling. Because, and that adrenal support goes a long way, Doug, 24/7.
It beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
Okay, and your books, Everybody is Sick and I Know Why, and Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, are available right there on your website. Also Amazon, if they so choose.
Sure.
But
great.
Great.
Get away from Amazon, but what are you going to do?
Well, and I'll tell you something. It's the gift that keeps on giving. This no, I'm not just saying that. For this holiday season, right? Folks want to know what they can do to help their family members. Okay, this is seriously, those two books will help every person you give it to. And it's one of the gifts that you can give where actually you will get, and we've done this before with you'll actually get thank yous throughout the year and years because they truly, I mean, somebody just has to have one thing happen and they'll go to the book and they'll go, I guess I should, look at this. And they do it and they go, oh. It truly is the greatest Christmas gift you can give, or New Year's gift to anyone you know and love. And I appreciate, Pete, you doing it because, frankly, it's what the syndicate does not want out there. Okay? And I appreciate all that you do and how you do it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dave. Right back at you. You're one of the few allopathically trained medical professionals in the world who has a clue and who is taking a stand, not on behalf of your profession, but on behalf of the health of everybody in the world, because that's the doctor's duty, regardless of what discipline they're trained in.
Peter, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. drglidden.com, operationfreedomhealth.com. I'd like to thank you folks for joining us today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.